Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two pickup trucks making love, American made.
Listen up, Autothoughts and Decepticons. You're listening to Prime Cuts, a non-linear history of the Transformers franchise on television. I'm one of your hosts, Audrey.
I'm your other host, Nero.
And, listen, we've all made choices. Nero chose Energon.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose the War for Cybertron trilogy. And, I mean, the nice thing about Energon is that it probably is objectively the worst show that we're going to watch on this. But what I didn't realize going into the War for Cybertron trilogy is that besides better or worse, there's actually a secret third option, which is plateauing at bad.
Yeah, this is... Alright, so... This is the War for Cybertron trilogy, Siege, part 1 of 3 on Netflix.com. I think I talked about the production stuff of this before.
It's the Rooster Teeth one. I was right, Nero was wrong, and they have to apologize to me for gaslighting me.
They were involved. They were not like the main studio behind it. They're
the production company.
They were the production company. They did not animate it though. They did not use their
but they're the production company.
Incredible Rawubby technology to make this beautiful show come to life.
Anyway, you gaslit me. I was right. I was right.
I just assumed that they were involved in the extremely cheap and bad looking Machinima only series for whatever reason. I don't know why I would assume that. Anyway, it's fucking Siege.
Didn't hear an apology is all I'm saying.
I'm sorry I doubted your wisdom.
Here's what I actually will say about Siege, particularly coming off Energon, is that it doesn't look good, but it does look better than I thought it was going to.
I mean,
in terms of just the way it moves, I think that the models themselves are range from fine to that's pretty mediocre.
Yeah, I mean, they're all still just very clearly scanned in toys. Much like Energon is, but they move a lot better. They have more weight to them, I will say that. Yeah, sometimes the lighting even looks nice.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that mostly I am surprised it is much better lit than I was expecting this show to be. Again, bars are on the ground here, so don't get too excited, but I don't hate looking at the show, for the most part, the way I hated looking at Energon.
Energon is an assault on the senses. This is only a mild irritation of the senses.
What I do hate, the sense I do hate in regards to the show, is listening to it. Oh. It has some of the worst sound mixing I think I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah,
some of the worst voice acting. It's just really bad.
let's get some overarching overview stuff out of the way that just is true about everything before we get into the specifics. Which, by the way, no episode titles for this. No, this is a serious show.
What are you talking about? It's episode 1.
Yeah, episode 1. We're doing episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 times in a row. So there's a few problems. This show, let me tell you, this show ain't perfect. It's got a few tiny little flaws.
Little growing pains.
Number 1, as you said, the voice acting in this show is some of the worst I've ever heard. And there's a reason for that, because I'm looking through these TF Wiki pages for these voice actors. Is it because
it was non-union?
Yes, it is non-union, and due to that, guess what a lot of these guys also worked on? The Machinima Prime Wars trilogy.
Awesome, great, fantastic. So, here's the thing about it, and again, because it's the last thing we did, and it was also very bad, I think there's going to be a lot of comparison to Energon.
Mm-hmm.
But Energon was also bad to listen to.
Yes.
Right? Like, we talked about 2 minutes of Optimus groaning in pain.
But
Like, this is the... But, like, you can at least tell that the voice actors enjoyed what they were doing.
yeah, and at least in Superlink, Energon had a lot of, like, Canadian, like,
Yeah.
flattening. But Superlink, everybody had a very distinct voice. Now, some of them were very annoying, but, like,
Yeah.
you could tell. This show... because number one, the voice acting is bad, and number two, everybody is modulated out the ass.
What
Everybody
do you mean? A Soundwave sounds like a real adult man.
somehow I was really impressed by how shitty they made Soundwave sound, because it's really easy. It's really easy
So
to do Soundwave. Literally, all you need to do, Dr. Claw voice, auto-tune.
You want to know what the great irony about how Soundwave sounds in this is? He would sound better if he was deeper and gravelier.
Yeah. Like,
His voice is too high in a show full of people who are trying to hit low notes that they simply cannot hit. Soundwave is just too high.
This Megatron, I gotta tell you, this fucking Megatron's like real bad.
But, like, even beyond that, like, I wouldn't even care about that if anyone cared.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you can tell that the voice actors do not care about what they are doing. Or if they do, then they don't like acting. Like, there's no...
The more likely thing is they're
being directed badly.
Directed, yeah.
Yeah. But, like, again, like, even in Energon, when, like, the voices are super annoying, they're at least actually acting.
Yes.
Like, this truly feels like a middle school theater production in terms of, like, the affect. With one notable exception, which is Alita, who is actually voice acted pretty well, which just makes everyone else's bad acting starker in comparison. Particularly since most of her scenes are with Optimus, who is probably the worst Optimus I've ever heard.
Guess what? It's Cyberverse Optimus again. This motherfucker is back, and he's stinking it up yet again. He's
not this bad in Cyberverse, though.
I think he's better directed in Cyberverse.
That's probably it. Yeah.
He's also he's less gravelly in that. He's doing more of a square-jawed, like, sort of heroic voice. This is a bad Peter Cullen impression.
Yeah, so, like, I know you have your issues with Cyberverse Optimus, but, like,
very much.
Yeah, I don't have the same issues as you, but, like, whether or not you think trying to be, like, doing Peter Cullen is a good choice or not, like, again, in Cyberverse, at least he's acting, right? Like, this is just, like, so totally disaffected. And that's everyone, again, except for Alita, who has all these scenes with Optimus and is so clearly better acted than everyone else. It's like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah, like, I'm looking her up right now, Lindsay Rousseau. Her blurb on TF Wiki is crazy. She was a combat photographer in the fucking army.
Okay.
And wrote a master's thesis that was made into an Emmy Award-nominated Frontline documentary during her time in journalism.
Oh, girl. And you ended up here?
Her credits as a voice actor, wow. Oh, dear. They aren't very good. She really went downhill. So there's a lot of additional voices, player voice type 16... She is oh no, Lindsay. You're the only one of the few, like, decent parts of the show, and it looks like she's really in the mine. She's really in the fucking Blizzard and MMO mines is what's happening down here.
I don't think that's so bad, honestly. Like, if that's what works for her. Listen, if it pays the bills.
Yeah, of course, as a working actor in the United States, she has been in several several police procedurals, NCIS.
Yeah, Law and Order.
But yeah, she's pretty good. She's doing, like, acting. Joe Zizia, Bumblebee. We'll get into Bumblebee in this. I think it's really remarkable that me as a nominal Bumblebee disliker, I usually don't like Bumblebee that much when he pops up in most things. They have managed to reach a new low in how annoying they can get Bumblebee, and they've done it by making him an enlightened centrist.
So, on that note, we should probably get started talking about the episodes, because my first note is, from the people who brought you Asshole Optimus, it's Asshole Bumblebee.
Oh, he sucks so bad. So, okay, this is one of the first of many, like, cheeky G1 references that they fill this show with, and I just have to say, you should make the good show first and then put in all the Easter eggs, because
actually,
much like the first episode of More Than Meets the Eye in the original pilot of G1, how does this show start?
With Wheeljack?
Wheeljack and Bumblebee foraging for Energon, running from the Seekers.
Yeah. So here's what I'll say on the note that Nero just made, which is a general note about this series, which is that there is part of it that is sort of very endearing to me and makes me want to like it very much. And that part of it is that it feels like a fan project.
Yes.
that was not sort of, that was like, so it feels like two things. It feels like someone wrote prose, like whether it's fan fiction, a novel, whatever you want to call it, and then just very unsuccessfully try to make that into a moving show without actually doing the proper transfer to screenwriting.
Yeah,
because
I will say this show's script is fucking atrocious. It's stinky. Ooh, it's stinky.
But it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, if you were reading this, I could see how someone would be like, that's at least fine, right? Like, it maybe isn't anything groundbreaking, but like...
And also, all of the really circular and mediocre dialogue would be filled in with, like, a lot of description.
Exactly. No, that's exactly what it feels like, right? Like, you listen to the dialogue, and it's like, okay, like, if I was reading this, like, in a novel, in a fan fiction, whatever, it wouldn't be groundbreaking, but it would be, like, perfectly passable mass market fiction, right? Yeah. But it's not. And as someone who has done both screenwriting and fan fiction and other narrative prose, those are two very different writing styles. And it feels like someone just like was like, ooh, I like this story and I would like to make it into a show because I can imagine in my head how it'd look in the show. And then they just took their novel and tried to do that, but they didn't screenwrite it at all. They just, but like, again, there is like something kind of endearing about the idea of it being like if I imagine that a fan is telling me this story, it kind of makes my heart smile. Yes. But it's not. It's a Netflix production, so I don't smile.
It's similar to how I feel about, this is something I compare this to pretty often, All Hail Megatron, the first attempt at an IDW soft reboot, right?
I think like All Hail Megatron, but that's just me.
All Hail Megatron is like it has a very juvenile streak of, you know, there's a certain stage when you like something where the good guys are lame, and you're like, it would be so fucking sick if the fucking Decepticons just blew up all these little stinky humans and they fucking did a bunch of war crimes and shit, and all the Autobots were sad about it. That'd be fucking epic. That's basically what All Hail Megatron is.
I mean, it does have Astro Train running people over in a subway station, which is pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie.
It has Devastator doing 9/11. It has all this stuff. Not literally, but pretty much. And it's just like, I think that All Hail Megatron is better than this because it is the script is better and all of the characters feel distinct. Because like these characters are maybe the most watery and ill-defined I've ever seen them, and I am including like Energon in that. We'll get to it. This Ultra Magnus is a fucking I don't know what the hell's going on here.
The other thing is that, like, the characterizations for all these guys are
So
all
bad.
over the place. All over the place. Particularly Megatron. Who
Oh
goes
man,
back,
yeah, I love
who goes, like, back and forth between
Okay.
being, like, a benevolent... Like, it's really hard to get... And I think it's just because he's written poorly. But it's really hard to gauge how, like, genuine he is, because he comes off at times as, like, genuinely wanting to see an end to this war and being, like, tired of fighting and, like, understanding that there are some, like, unovercomable differences that lead to war, but, like, not wanting to fight as much as possible. And then, like, other times he's like, yeah, bread and circuses, get the lions in here, feed them to the gladiators.
And I think this first scene is a great illustration of it. So what happens is it's Wheeljack and Bumblebee. Bumblebee in this continuity is not the plucky young Autobot out to.
He's not an Autobot at all.
Yeah, he's like the fucking edgy, like, man, both sides are bad, dude. I'm just out here trying to live my life, man.
I'm just trying to survive.
And he's annoying, and I hate every second he's on screen. Wheeljack, instead of being the whimsical...
If you're gonna give me a fucking nail, at least give me Metal Hawk.
Give me an interesting nail, other than the, like, man, I'm just trying to survive out here, man. I'm just trying to live, dude. It's like, okay, man, whatever. Have you looked around?
Give me my skinny golden flying twink.
Yeah, well, I'll get to my problems with this show being like a serious war story later, because I think it's really... It's really not.
And the conversations are so, like, grade 4 wars bad.
So they find a space bridge, and they're looking for Energon, and they find a space bridge. Wheeler's like, oh my god, we used to ride these babies for miles. And Bumblebee's like, fuck you, buddy. You hired me to get the Energon. We gotta get out of here before the Seekers find us.
No. They hired him to find the Energon.
Yeah,
this is an important part.
They didn't tell me to get it. But surprise, surprise, the Seekers are here, including evil Jetfire. We get to see...
Okay, wait, I want to talk about... Yeah. I need to talk about this so bad. So at first I was so excited about this because I literally said, what was my note? I'll forgive the show for everything if Jetfire got honeypotted by Starscream.
Nope. They're just doing a beta test version of his relationship with Megatron.
Yeah, it's like they just took SG Jetfire and put him in there, but also without the obsession with Starscream. But like, it's because I was so excited because they show up together. Like, it's Jetfire in front and Starscream to the side, and it's like, oh my god, they honeypotted Jetfire. I'm like, that's sick. Wait, I'm about to forgive this show for everything. But no, they fucking hate each other.
This is just before Jetfire became an Autobot. It's just
So my notes are, I'll forgive the show for everything if Jetfire got honeypotted by Starscream. What?
Yeah, no.
What is going on here with Jetfire and Starscream?
So they're arguing. The other Seekers are also there. They're here. So
Jetfire. Wait. I need to be very clear. Yes. The what is because Jetfire's not only a Decepticon, blue eyes and everything. Don't worry about it. But because he's the leader, the commander of the Seekers. What the fuck? Why? He's a shuttle.
Yeah, he was I believe in most continuities, Jetfire's pre-war role was scientist. He has never been the air commander at all, not a single time. But yeah, he and Starscream argue, and Starscream's always trying to show him up. By the way, prepare to every time a Seeker shows up, you squint and go, "Is that Skywarp?" And then that guy gets blown up and you go, "Oh, I guess that wasn't Skywarp," because the show crunches all of the colors so brutally that
it's like, I guess that's black.
Is that black? Is that black and purple? Oh, he blew up. I guess it was him.
Or it was, and they just have 50 million of those motherfuckers.
Yeah, this is the 36th Skywarp this month, god damn it.
Yeah, so you've heard of Skywarp, we're now introducing Skyclone.
Yeah.
He has a different outlier ability.
And they bicker. It's like, oh, we should kill them. And
it is
Jetfire's like, no, we should not.
this first conversation is like really telling about how weirdly paced this entire show is, because like they have an argument. Jetfire like Starscream's like capture them and it's like, or like attack or whatever, and Jetfire's like yes, and it takes out his sword and cuts Starscream's hand off, and Starscream's like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
he's like, I give the commands around here, Starscream.
I have to say, like, I know I'm a Starscream stan. I do think Starscream is fairly justified in most of his reactions in these episodes, because, like, genuinely, he's like, dude, what? Like, what are you doing? And, Jetfire is exactly like, I'm the one who gives the commands. And Starscream's like, are you fucking serious right now?
And then Jetfire goes, capture them. So then they get captured.
Meanwhile, the two of them are just like Wheeljack and Bumblebee are just like looking at each other. I'm like, why is this paced so weirdly?
The conflicts are endless, because then then Starscream and Jetfire get into an argument, and then Megatron comes out. I don't know why he's here. Like, this is not really a big mission or anything. Like, they're not stealing anything important, but he's just here. And again, he and Wheeljack talk back and forth for like 4 fucking minutes.
Well, I do want to talk about Megatron's design and him looking like handsome Squidward.
Oh, the lips! What is the lips?
Again, like so much of this show, and again, I really want to like it because of this.
Overlord, eat your heart out.
So much of this show really does feel like a passionate fan's project, right? Like, it feels like someone who actually really loves Transformers made this. It's just they didn't do a good job, which is really sad. Like, it's much easier to hate on something like the Bayverse movies, because I don't think Michael Bay actually gives a shit about Transformers as a franchise.
Yeah, no, he said as much. He's like, I don't care about these stupid robots. I just want to make big boom.
Yeah. So, like, it's very easy to, like, hate on something like that, where it's like, I know the creator of this did not give a shit about this. That it's not the case for the War for Cybertron's trilogy. You get the feeling based upon the cameos and the Easter eggs and all that stuff that it's someone who actually cares and knows a lot about the franchise. It's just it makes it so much worse because it does suck.
I wonder how much of this, because there's some odd character choices coming up, especially in the second episode. It's like, what the fuck is happening here?
There is a Decepticon squad in the second episode that made me lose my mind. It is the most off absurd, like pulling technical Decepticons out of a hat.
Yeah.
Man. The 2 members in particular, I'm like, what the fuck are these guys doing here? We'll get to that, though.
I wonder how much of that was limited based on what guys are in the toy line, because this was tied to a big toy line.
I know,
but
it's
the reason everybody here's something interesting.
Yeah.
Everybody in this show, because it's like the big war show and everybody's all fucked up and they all have battle damage.
Yeah.
This was also the case in the toy line, and a bunch of people were really mad because, like, I just want a normal figure, and you got him covered in fucking scorch marks and bullet holes and shit, and also all of these insane weaponizer accessories. So a lot of these figures got released in the later fucking War for Cybertron trilogy lines, which is without the battle damage.
Great. Oh, anyway, John Hasbro, I just want to talk.
Megatron is here. He's got big. They're not luscious though. Like Overlord, he has luscious, plump lips. He has very kissable lips. Megatron's lips look chapped. Megatron.
Well, yeah, they're in war.
Yeah, Megatron. We ran out of chapstick years ago. I'm in hell. But he goes on and on. This is where we get our first moment of Megatron rapidly oscillating between a bunch of different beliefs. So at first they're like, oh, they were we should kill them. And then Megatron goes, no, Starscream. This war started as a revolution, and I will not have it turn into a genocide. But then Starscream talks a little bit more, and he's like, but what if you did kill them? And Megatron thinks about it and goes, okay.
To be fair, Megatron's original solution is, it's like, no, we don't kill people, we brainwash them.
Yes!
We talk at them until they change their hearts.
Yeah, change their hearts and minds. And then he's like, actually, this guy's too much of an Autobot. We should just kill him. It's like, okay. Then your brainwashing must not be very good. But then, of course, just when our beloved heroes are about to be gunned down.
Well, one other thing about that is like, Wheeljack's like, I'll, like, Megatron's like, we must change their hearts, and Wheeljack's like, you are never going to change my heart. Like, that is simply not happening. And Bumblebee's like, I'd sell him to Satan for one corn chip. I'm not an Autobot. Like, I'm not an Autobot.
I'm just a contractor, man. They just hired me on for this. It's you can I'll do whatever, man.
And Mr. I don't want to do violence Megatron over here is like, well, at least the one on the left, like, wears his destiny and allegiance with honor. You're just a little rat, so I'm gonna kill you second so you can see how badly he dies. And Bumblebee's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, so that he walks away, and then when they're about to be shot by the Seekers, then Optimus shows up. There
is so much Deus Ex Machina of people showing up at the exact right moment in this show. It is as bad as I've ever seen it in any series, Transformers or otherwise.
Middle school play, grade 4 writing, because it's like every other line of dialogue is the worst exposition I've ever heard. Every scene ends with a Deus Ex Machina. Every conversation goes in circles. There's one between Magnus and Megatron in the next episode where I was losing my fucking mind because they literally just say the same thing 6 times in a row in different ways. Like, God damn it, say something else.
And then it's like, anyway, good talk, go to jail.
Yeah, anyway, that's time for you to go to jail. Like, what the fuck is the point of any of that?
Thanks for surrendering yourself, idiot.
Wasted 3 minutes of my goddamn life. But Optimus shows up. He's like, "Oh, I'm here to fight," and then he fights. But actually, he gets this is amazing because Optimus shows up. He flies in, badass summons, "I'm here, Megatron," and then Megatron.
I disagree with you. I think he kind of flails in. I actually noted how badly he kind of like flops in.
You think about the iconic shots from the '86 movie where Megatron must be stopped no matter the cost. The touch starts playing. Optimus is doing the sickest shit you've ever seen in your life. This one, he like flings himself off a ramp, rolls in, and then immediately gets the tar beaten out of him by Megatron. Just loses a fist fight so badly.
And again, I did talk about that. Mostly, for the most part, this show looks better than I was expecting it to do. This is not one of those parts.
Oh, the action!
This fight was not one of those parts.
No, the action in this show is really bad.
I mean, it depends. The melee action is very bad. The gunfights look fine.
Yeah, but they're also not like.
No, I mean nothing in this show is spectacular, but they look fine. They're like perfectly passable, right?
For sure.
The melee stuff. They look like Rock'em Sock'em robots.
They do. It's like
that's what it looks like.
It looks like the free-to-play Transformers fighting game you can get on the phone. Like that's about as fucking high as we're getting. So yeah, Optimus gets the shit kicked out of him. He's about to die, and he has to get bailed out by his wife. Elita 1 is here, and she's sniping.
She has so far been the saving grace of this series.
Yes. And everybody runs, and Bumblebee's like, "Wait, I'm not an Autobot." And Autobot says, "I don't care. You're coming anyway." You basically are an Autobot now because you hung out with Wheeljack one time.
I mean, I will say to the writing of this, we're ragging on it a lot, deservedly, but I don't want us to like do it undeservedly. So basically, Optimus says, as far as Megatron's concerned, you are an Autobot because you're with us. And that is like, well, you can go out on your own and die, or you can hang with us. And Bumblebee, for the next 2 episodes, is like, oh, I'll go out on my own and die. And Optimus is like, okay, no.
He keeps trying to, bribe. It's like when you're trying to get a stray cat out with like some fucking treats or whatever.
He's pissing her. Bumblebee.
So this escape that they do. So now, all of the other Decepticons here are planes. They are seekers. They turn into jets. How Optimus, Wheeljack, and Bumblebee escape is by, number one, they run over a bridge.
Really, by the way, the sound effects of the running, clang, 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 it is relentless.
Let me just get close on my mic here. You can turn into cars. So that's something it has in common with Energon, where there would be dudes running when they could just transform, and then when they were in space, they would just be driving on nothing. It's like, all right, whatever. Then I
was about to say, what if they can? We haven't seen any evidence of it so far, except for Optimus.
It's true. They detonate a bridge. They detonate a bunch of explosives on the bridge, and I thought, oh, they're going to collapse the bridge behind them. No. They just kind of make a big explosion. And then the bridge is fine. And once again, even if they knocked the bridge out, it's the Seekers.
So
it's the planes.
The
planes are the guys that are chasing them. Why didn't they?
An interesting thing about this show is that a lot of people make a lot of like hubbubaloo about explosives.
Yes,
only for those explosives to not actually do all that much at all.
Yeah, it's like Elita
gets so mad.
It's like, Optimus, you were too close to that explosion. It's like, it wasn't that big of an explosion. It was like he set off a cherry bomb. Like it made a lot of smoke.
And then next episode it's like, well, okay, who cares?
So they go back to the Ark where we see a bunch of the Autobots are in like the worst. It's really funny how like Optimus is like, I will never give up. I will never even consider signing Megatron's treaty. It's like, brother, have you looked at your like forces right now? You literally have like 5 dudes and the rest of them are all injured. I'm all for like believing in the cause. But at a certain point, you have to accept the material conditions, Optimus. You're fucked.
And this is like another thing as we go back and forth between here and Megatron, where it's like, Megatron like does clearly want to, like he says, I want an end to this war as much as anyone else. And there are parts where it's like, what the treaty says.
That's the thing about this show's writing, is that it wants to be like big war drama, serious time, no more funny business. This is a war for Cybertron. But, like, then you gotta tell me what's in the treaty. You gotta tell me why Optimus doesn't want to take it. You can't just say there's a treaty. And it's like, Optimus says, I'm not gonna take your treaty.
But regardless, like, Megatron has offered, like, a treaty, right?
Yes.
Like, Megatron has clearly said, like, I am willing to end this war without any more casualties if you agree to certain terms. Now, we have no idea what those terms are, so they could be horrendous. But, like, there is an effort where, other Megatrons wouldn't have done that much, right?
Totally not. They would be all out for, like, we're gonna fucking burn Iacon to the ground and roll around in the ashes.
But then Megatron does that at the end of this episode. Megatron's like, well, the Autobots won't take the treaty, so we're gonna burn Iacon down to the ground and then bathe in the ashes.
Like, all right, man, whatever. So he gets back to base, and he's trying to sell Bumblebee on this whole thing. By the way, why? Okay, we talked about how, everyone, the show clearly has a lot of franchise love in it. There's a lot of deep cuts. I have a problem. Big problem
with Red Alert.
With Red Alert being the medic. No, wrong. G1 Red Alert, security chief. The only time Red Alert has been a medic was in Armada, and that was a very different characterization. Because this guy, I mean...
So this guy doesn't feel like G1 Red Alert either. There's like none of the paranoia.
This guy's nobody. There's like
this guy is nobody.
There's like I thought they were leaning into it. There's a line he has in the second episode where he's like, but we can't trust Magnus. What if he's a Decepticon agent? But like, that's a reasonable thing to think in that situation. So he's not paranoid.
Yeah,
it's like,
no,
he's just
I feel like
he's just Temu Ratchet.
I feel like they gave him first aid's personality.
Yeah, which is to say,
Like, he's not Ratchet either. I think they're like, well, who's the other, like emergency response vehicles? And they're like, Red Alert is. It's like, okay, personality-wise, first aid.
yeah, like we don't have any Protectabot toys. I guess we have a Red Alert. I guess we gotta put Red Alert in as the medic, and also just sort of do a personality removal surgery on him because he's got nothing going on. Let's see what else happens in this arc scene. I mean, we see a lot of guys who
there.
look like
That's fun.
Chromia is there. Optimus meets with Ultra Magnus, Ultra Magnus is like he's like the military commander as opposed to the overall like leader of the Autobots. And Magnus is like, hey, why the fuck? Both he and Alita One are like, hey, Optimus, why the fuck did you pop out of hiding and risk yourself to save like one guy? You could have been captured or killed, and then what are we even doing here? And Optimus says, no, I've got to fight. And Ultra Magnus,
this comes back up later in the second episode. I've never wanted a divorce more.
Oh God, I mean, this Optimus.
Why is Alita Alita, honey? I am free. I'll treat you right.
Get with literally any. Okay, not Bumblebee because he's also sucks, but get with literally anybody else other than this. Optimus is the most stubborn fucking asshole in the whole world. This guy's dumb as a bag of hammers.
And he also just like won't explain any of it.
No,
like that's the thing. Like, it'd be one thing if he were stubborn, but like Alita's like, I just don't know. In the next episode, not to get too far ahead, but like Alita has this moment with him where she's like, I don't know what we're fighting for anymore, and Optimus says, you just have to trust me. And she like, and it's like I just need you to trust me. And for someone who's in like a relationship, like, I will actually give them that. Like, that's fine. If it weren't followed up by this isn't Alita saying this isn't the life I imagined for us, and then Optimus going, yes, but it's a life worth fighting for.
What is it?
How would she know that? How would she know that? You won't tell her what it is.
I literally audibly went, is it? When he said that? Like, what are you talking about, dude?
How would
what
she
life?
know? How would she know? You won't fucking tell her.
Like, are you talking about like the what you're fighting for? Because we don't know what the fuck you're fighting for other than extremely nebulous freedom. But also, is it this life? Because let me tell you, this ain't a life worth fighting for. Your life fucking sucks right now, Optimus. You're hiding in a fucking basement, basically.
Yeah,
like,
this is the Precioso, my man.
Bumblebee basically tells Optimus, like, fuck off, I don't want to be part of your crusade. And Optimus is like, come on. Come on. And Bumblebee's like, no, I'm above all these causes. I'm just trying to survive, man. And then when he tries to walk out,
the ones who walk away from Omelas.
And, you know, he was taken to their secret cloaked base, which is the Ark, is in some like corner of Cybertron somewhere.
Oh, Hound! Hound is his characterization is insane.
Yeah, Hound got
what the fuck?
Hound basically got Red Alert's characterization.
Yeah.
This is something that I would expect G1 Red Alert to do, because basically Bumblebee tries to leave and Hound goes like, wait a minute.
Let's kill him.
He might be able to, what if he reveals the location of our base? What if he sells our secrets at the enemy? We should kill him. And he and Alita are ready to fucking pop this little yellow bastard immediately. And Optimus
Alita's
goes,
so casual
no!
about it. Yeah, Alita's so casual about it. She's like, what if I just...
Yeah, what if I just kill him? And Optimus says, we are not the Decepticons. Literally, that is like the line read. He is so...
It's atrocious. It's some of the worst voice acting I've ever heard.
It's so Batfleck coded. It's so, why did you say that name? Martha, why did you say that name?
Yeah.
So Bumblebee leaves and he will appear very briefly in the next episode, but basically not at all. We cut over to Kaon. Well, first there's the conversation between Magnus and Optimus, where Magnus is like, you know, I'm really worried about this war. I'm worried about the survival of our people, Optimus. I think maybe we should take, a second thought at this treaty that Megatron is offering us. And Optimus goes, I'm not accepting the treaty. The treaty is worse than death. And Magnus is like, okay, but if we don't accept the treaty, we're all just going to die anyway. You know that, right? Optimus is like, nah.
Well, no, actually, it's the opposite, where Ultra Magnus is like, we're going to die if you don't take this treaty. And Optimus is like, if we do take it, we're dead anyway. And Ultra Magnus is like, what?
Yeah, it's once again, just like, I don't know what the treaty is. Optimus, you got to tell me. You got to tell me what's in the treaty. Otherwise, you just look like a huge jackass.
I think he is just a huge jackass. Like, I think that's his secret, Captain. He is a huge jackass.
This Optimus is like easily one of the worst. Like,
he sucks. He really sucks. And I can't express enough that it may very well be the same voice actor as Cyberverse. It is not nearly this. It is not nearly this bad in Cyberverse.
He's much better written in Cyberverse, and also like.
Well, yeah. I mean, but the acting specifically is not nearly as bad in Cyberverse.
The modulation certainly does him no favors.
No,
it doesn't.
And again, probably the directing. Whatever is going on in this show is at least consistent in like what's happening, because it is all very oddly like detached.
Yes. So speaking of which, we cut over to Kaon in Megatron's big mansion stadium. Where I love in the next episode we see he has like a bunch of wall art of himself doing badass shit. Like he's
so cool.
He's got a big painting of him stabbing some guy with a big sword, and he's wearing a huge cape. It's like, what the hell is going on here?
Weirdly enough, it kind of looks like he's stabbing Impactor.
Or I thought it was Ironhide at first.
Oh, it could be. But it looked like, I'm like, is that a minor? What's happening here?
Yeah, no fucking idea. So he's giving a big impassioned speech to trust us, bro, totally full stadium. We're not going to show you. We don't have the budget to show you the stadium. But like, trust us, bro.
It's Kingdom Hearts rules.
Yes, it totally is. Like, come on. There's so many guys in the stadium. Trust us. And
you can hear them.
He's spinning it up. He's like, oh, these Autobots.
What do you mean you don't see anyone in the stands at Hercules Coliseum? You can hear them, clearly.
And this is another, like, well, like you said, it's just Megatron just, like, does whatever. It seems like he's just either lying all the time or, like, just incredibly inconsistently written, because he just, like, spins what happened as, like, I met with Optimus Prime under peaceful, fair, like, ground to offer this treaty of peace, and he attempted to assassinate me.
They're trying to kill your girl.
And so I will crush the Autobots once and for all. So I guess he actually wants to win the war through violence, but actually he has another plan, but actually he wants peace. But actually
through tyranny.
Who could say? There's more fucking Starscream and Jetfire shit that's just so bad.
and it's like, and it's right there with Megatron too. And oh my god, Jetfire. I think I hate his voice the worst of anyone's.
He does not. Who the fuck is this?
I'm like, this is not Jetfire. This is just not Jetfire.
He sounds like Skywarp. He sounds like some random fucking goon.
It could have been so fun if he had actually been honeypotted.
Yeah, if this was like
because Jetfire and Starscream were like working together to like do like that would have been that I genuinely I would have forgiven the show for so much if that were the case.
That's like you have the story of like, yeah, Jetfire was an Autobot, but he did not, as the war went worse and worse, he decided that he
chose his partner.
Yeah, and he chose Starscream and he chose the Decepticons because it was like he wants to end the war, and this is the way he thinks he knows how. That's like a character you could write.
Or just like in general, like to say like, here's a relationship that Starscream had, and like this is a reference to G1 and how Fire in the Sky could have gone.
And literally,
like, that's cool. But no, it just sucks.
To mark home how much the Jetfire Starscream stuff is just the beta test version of Megatron and Starscream. Every other word out of Starscream's mouth is, well, if I was Decepticon Air Commander, instead of if I was Decepticon Leader, it's like, yeah, it's just the same shit. It's all just the same.
My
shit.
favorite part is they're having this argument right in front of Megatron, right? And Starscream's like, if
Yes.
I were Air Commander, like, I would have had Optimus Prime's head to you by now. And Megatron makes a comment, not particularly viciously, but like with a little bit of threat to him, which of your ambition will be your undoing.
Yeah.
And Jetfire behind him goes, and his arrogance.
And
because
then
that's how Jetfire sounds in this. And Megatron goes, no, I actually like his arrogance.
I like that line. I thought that was a fun one. That was a fun, like, actually, I kind of like that he's a hustler.
Yeah, it's like, no, I kind of like his arrogance.
That's fun. That's a fun thing for Megatron to say, but it's like it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, he had one good line. Can you write him in a sensible manner?
Spare more lines. Spare more lines, sir. My liege.
Jetfire literally sounds like this. It's like, what the hell is going on?
What did they do to my boy?
He is always like a soft boy or like a very fancy man. He is never like, ugh, even when he's a Decepticon.
Even when Shattered Glass, he's like a weird, obsessive, like, but he like hides how like fucked up he is behind like, you know, manners.
Yeah, he's
and
like a fucking,
and charm.
He's basically fucking Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
And Starscream is Will Graham. So
Jesus Christ.
Am I wrong?
You're not. But now I have to think about writing a Shattered Glass anagram at you.
So the end of this episode is this is incredible. A mysterious cloaked figure walks
Who
up.
could it be?
With big ass shoulder pylons poking up. It's like so let's speed right through episode 2.
Oh my god, Skids!
Oh my god, is that fucking Trax?
Oh, by the way, Skids is here. He's not the cloaked figure, but he is part of the autumn camp again as a reference.
In the background, yeah.
Yeah.
God, we get to talk about Cog in this episode, which is one of the funniest characters to include, because everyone's saying, oh, Cog is the new Padlock. Unlike Padlock, Cog is technically a real character, but I will reveal what Cog is later. So episode 2 starts with Ultra Magnus, Cloak, and I love a good robot wearing a cloak, right? We liked it in Armada when Scavenger was wearing the big cloak. It's
we liked it in Bayverse.
Yes, it's the Megatron's Dark of the Moon design is really good. This is supposed to be a disguise because clearly, and I thought maybe it wasn't, but then when Magnus reveals himself at the end of the scene where he comes to surrender, Megatron looks surprised. It's like, dude, who did you think that was?
Who else has built like a brick shit house
also,
and has pylons reaching to the sky? Come on,
also,
man.
You two know each other. You two have history.
You
and
were brothers.
Like, we fought together at the Tarnhauser Gate. So yeah, Magnus is here to surrender. And by the way, another interesting guy to pop up as like a cast member who has lines.
Barricade?
Barricade! A fucking micromaster.
He dies badly very quickly. I mean, he's not dead, but he does get punched into a wall.
He becomes the punching bag for this. But it's just really funny to choose like a random G1 micromaster who, granted, he's got a bit more name recognition these days.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he was chosen because of Bayverse.
Yeah, even though he doesn't look like him at all, but it's like,
yeah,
it's just we'll get to even more random, the random assortment of guys they choose for this commando raid in this episode is so fucking funny.
I'm sorry, I can't wait anymore. Fucking Spinister's there. What the fuck?
Yeah, so, yeah, let's talk about, well, first, okay, so first we have the worst conversation Episode 2, Magnus surrenders. He walks in, he tosses guys around, he's like, I'm here to surrender in good faith to you, Megatron. I want to end the war. And then we cut to them sitting at a big table. And here's how, like, this is paraphrased, but this is how the conversation goes. Ultra Magnus says, I'm here to surrender to end the war. And Megatron says, but your surrender will not end the war. Only Optimus Prime's surrender will end the war. And Magnus goes, Optimus will never surrender. And Megatron goes, only Optimus' surrender will end the war. And Magnus goes, I'm here to surrender to end the war. Don't you want to end the war? And Megatron goes, I want to end the war, but only Optimus' surrender will end the war. And Magnus goes, but I'm here to surrender. And Megatron goes, shut up, go to jail. That's
Jetfire, take him to jail.
That's like 3 minutes of your life watching that. It's so stupid.
Yeah, well.
So goddamn stupid. And then so Magnus's whole plan was the war has to end or else the Autobots will be driven to extinction. I will go to surrender to Megatron and maybe our shared history will convince him to end the war. And Megatron basically tells him, no, fuck off, go to jail. And then he's just in jail now. Like, and then we cut back to the arc where Optimus says, I have bad news. Ultra Magnus.
No, it's like, he uses the word unfortunate.
Yeah,
I have news about an unfortunate situation. Which is like,
yeah, man, it's pretty unfortunate.
Homie, what? Your commander and good friend has been taken prisoner by the enemy, who will definitely torture him. Which, like, Red Alert points out, they're like,
yeah,
he's like, they're gonna torture him because Optimus is like, I don't think Magnus will betray us, so we don't need to worry about that. And everyone looks at him and they're like, yeah, not on purpose, dude.
Yeah, literally. So Sideswipe has a line where he goes, permission to speak frankly, Optimus. He goes, as always, Sideswipe. And basically verbatim, Sideswipe goes, are you stupid?
Are you dense?
Is it crack you are smoking? He will be. It doesn't matter if he won't give us up voluntarily. They'll just pry it out of his brain, dude. We gotta go. Like, Sideswipe's literally like, hey, we need to leave. Our position has been compromised. And Optimus just goes, no, it's fine.
Yeah, I believe in Magnus. And everyone is like, are you listening to us?
Bro, they're gonna fucking energon board him. They're gonna dunk him.
English motherfucker.
Do you speak it? And Optimus goes, it's fine. So then we cut back to Kaon, and Shockwave is here. He's got an iPad.
Also sounds like shit. I hate this Shockwave voice. He's my second least favorite after Jetfire.
This Shockwave voice is so bad.
Hate this guy.
I don't know, like, he does not, just like Jetfire, he does not sound like any Shockwave at all. Because, like, okay. So there's another, like, deep cut Easter egg here in this conversation where he talks about finding the Allspark and what it can do. So he says verbatim to Megatron, we can use the Allspark to de-res all of the Autobots. Now, de-res is what you call getting killed in the movie Tron. And Corey Burton based Shockwave's original voice on Sark, the villain from Tron.
Oh yeah, that tracks.
However, the guy doing this Shockwave voice
doesn't sound anything like it.
Ass, and also it's an insane thing to say. It's just like you like shake her head like, what the fuck did he just say? And then he says some even crazier shit because he's like, hey Megatron, I found this mythical object and you can use it to instantly reprogram all Autobots into Decepticons.
My favorite part of this conversation, Jetfire is of course also there because he's the air commander for some reason. Again, I don't think I'm ever going to get over that, but he is. And basically, like, Megatron's like, so it would be like a snap and done, and Shockwave's like, yep, clean cut, and we get rid of all the Autobots for good, and Jetfire goes, it would be a victory without honor. And Shockwave's response to that was basically like, yeah, sick, right?
Yeah, like,
Hell yeah.
bro.
Isn't it awesome? Anyway, Megatron, that means I can do it, right? Megatron's like,
Bro.
no, I need to think about it.
Bro, you are in the Decepticons.
This weird characterization, right? Because, like, if
Yeah.
everything else was just him, like, faking it for the Autobots,
Mhm.
then fine. But, like, his reluctance to brainwash Autobots here is, like, there's no one he's faking it for. These are the Decepticon High Command. So it's like, what is the truth here? I don't get this Megatron at all.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of stuff we forgot to talk about with that insanely long exposition stuff in the first episode, where basically they imply that, like, Megatron and Optimus were both Alpha Trion's apprentices, which is why Megatron knows about, like, this mythical stuff. But he turned evil or whatever. But yeah, Megatron says, I'm going to need to think about that. That's a lot of allocations of resources. Now, for some reason, in Megatron's Kaon Palace, in his big evil fucking castle, the holding cells are within earshot of the command room. Because as soon as he has this conversation with Shockwave, Ultra Magnus radios Optimus and say, hey, Megatron's looking for the Allspark. He's going to fucking wipe all the Autobots out in one go. Which, by the way, once again, the third line Megatron has in the show is, this was a revolution. I don't want it to turn into a genocide. And then in the second episode, he's like, oh, we can wipe all the Autobots out in one go. That's epic. I love that. What? What's happening?
I don't get it.
Anyway.
I'm so genuinely confused by the characterization of this Megatron.
I want to read a note I have here, because when Optimus Magnus calls in and he's like, hey, Optimus, Megatron's looking for the Allspark. That would be bad news. Let me just read this note. Optimus hears the word Allspark and gets so hard he nearly passes out. He instantly pivots his entire plan towards finding the Allspark. When everyone points out it's a huge waste of resources and is relying on intel from a guy who willingly gave himself up to the enemy, he ignores them. What a fucking asshole.
He doesn't think Ultra Magnus will betray them. And again, everyone else is like, oh god, it's Sideswipe and is it Cog?
Cog, yeah, okay, Cog. It's Cog time. Time for Cog.
Yeah.
Cog heads rise up. Okay.
Who are like, basically the two of them are like, and then we can talk about Cog, but like, as Optimus is discussing this with the others, Sideswipe's like, this is, at best, a waste of resources. And at worst, a huge obvious trap. What the fuck are we doing here?
And Optimus is like, no, I have faith in Magnus. Like, you need to.
I'm gonna kill him.
Yourself.
How does this Autobot survive this long at all? Jesus.
Cog is here. Cog has a very distinct look. There's also many of him. There are lots of Cog-like guys. Cog is the generic model for this Autobot series, I guess. Now Cog is a crazy character to pull from, because he's not a character. Cog is an accessory that came with the Fortress Maximus toy, because Fort Max, back in the 80s, he had two drones that would combine into a little guy that you could put on the big base mode, and that's what Cog was. So they made a new Cog toy. And by the way, the whole thing with these guys is they're weaponizers, so they just turn into big cannons and shit that other Autobots can clip onto themselves. Because we see him become a Cog guy become a backpack for Sideswipe later. But Cog is literally a character who has never been in anything. Cog is an accessory. And they decided to make him one of the main named guys in this show. Because let me tell you, he's not actually dead. He's going to be on the Ark when they go into space in the second season. Cog is here until the last episode.
From the last to the first.
Cog. Everyone's favorite. Cog. Once again, this is, I think, is easily, this is the decision I know is absolutely informed by, like, we only have a limited amount of guys that are being sold as toys. I guess we have to do something with Cog. He basically becomes Gears. Like, he's like the spoil sport. Which, you
I don't like
makes you
that,
think-
but I guess you're
Maybe
not
makes
wrong.
why wasn't it just Gears? Why wasn't it just like
Yeah, why wasn't it just Gears?
a guy
Literally anyone.
a guy who has like past characterization and like fans care about instead of Cog. But anyway, Soundwave, who comes in sounding like fucking wet ass. God, he sounds so bad. Once again, yeah, you're right. His voice isn't gravelly enough. So when they modulate it, he just sounds tinny.
He sounds like a AI phone assistant.
Yeah.
Like he sounds like the TikTok lady, or he sounds like any male text to speech.
So he's like, "Hey,
voice.
Megatron, Ultra Magnus made a phone call in his cell," and Megatron's like, "What the fuck? Fuck that guy! I thought he was here in good faith, but he decided to be a little bitch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep him in the cell forever anyway. Let's set an extremely obvious trap." So he has Soundwave.
But Soundwave's like, "Hey, but good news though, it was super easy to trace. So
Yeah.
now I've hacked their entire system."
It's like, good job, Magnus, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, fucked it for
Can
the
we
last
put-
time,
Can
UM.
we put Alita in charge? It seems like she's the only motherfucker around here
Given-
with like
Given the number of
brains.
IDW references, I do hope they reveal that there's a little guy inside Magnus.
Yeah. So the most obvious trap ever is broadcast to the Ark, where it's like Magnus looping a message that says, "Optimus, I have found the Allspark. Here it is. Go here. I found it." And Optimus is like, "Great.
Go
let's
there.
go."
Where? The dark. Go to the dark.
Yeah, like, literally, it's like, "Go in the dark," and Optimus says, "Great, I love you, Ultra Magnus. You would never betray me." He's like, "You."
I told these assholes you'd never betray me.
And yeah, we just get like we get Sideswipe and Cog looking at each other like the fucking Shrek picture.
Yeah, looking at the camera like they're on The Office.
Okay, so this is where we get to talk about the crack commando team that Megatron dispatches to spring this
The
trap.
world's finest over here.
These are the fucking best and brightest. These are the fucking, the top assassins. Okay, number 1, Impactor.
Crazy.
That guy's not a Decepticon.
Crazy choice. Admittedly, more of a Decepticon probably than Jetfire is.
Oh yeah, like
But-
he is more of like a morally ambiguous character, but also he's never
But
he's never been a Decepticon.
I do hope that means we get Springer's 3 other dads.
Yeah, where's Prowl? Where's Tarantulas? Number 2. Here we go.
Where's Cup?
Once again, this is the A-list. These are the A-list. These are the fucking guys.
Spinister.
Number 2, Spinister, who, okay, now of course, he wasn't always literally the dumbest guy in the world. However, that is his most, that is his biggest role
And
in
again,
recent memory.
Like, this is...
So when everyone sees him, he's like, "Oh, that's the guy who's literally too stupid to live."
But, hey, if you need someone to do neurosurgery, Sinister's your man.
Yeah, so it's Spinister, and then there's Barricade again. He's back. The fucking
Barricade, who did not die.
Who did not die. Then there's Skytread.
Is that who it was? I didn't even know who the
It
last
was
one.
Skytread, one of the duocons,
Oh,
who are
God.
guys who are two cars that combined into one guy. Also most famous for being the member of the Scavengers who dies in their first appearance.
Right. Yeah.
And then a bunch of reflector drones. A bunch of reflector guys.
Yeah. It was.
And Ravage is also
one
here.
of them who is not part of the original Reflector team named Refractor.
Yeah, I think they actually renamed it because they couldn't get the
couldn't get like eyeglass, spyglass, and
so they're just refractor now.
Viewfinder.
Viewfinder. Yeah. So also Ravage is here. He's looking real husky. I think Soundwave should lay off the Energon treats.
Ravage also has sort of a Scooby-Doo thing going on where he doesn't really talk, but he kind of does.
Why is Ravage here without Soundwave? What the hell's going on? Anyway,
presumably the same thing that Impactor and Jetfire are doing here, which is no rules, just right.
So, okay, here's what's happening. Right, they've drawn them to Iacon. They're leading them towards this high concentrated Energon.
Now,
and when I saw
I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking.
I saw that, I was like, oh, clearly the plan is they will have them collect the Energon. They will shoot the Energon to blow them all up.
I know what you're thinking, because everyone here had the same thought.
They just shoot him. They just shoot him in the chest and not in the key. I thought they were all gonna get blown up.
Yeah, no. I don't understand why this was even there. Because here's the thing. It gets stolen, right? Bumblebee steals it, and Megatron's genuinely furious about it.
I guess, like, the secondary goal of this, other than murdering Optimus Prime, was, also I found this cool Energon we should get. Just incidentally. Like, what? I thought...
It wasn't. It was supposed to be, like, the Allspark.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the Allspark. So you lay the trap... And then you would figure that, the Decepticons have so much Energon. They're like the leading faction on the planet. They aren't in the resource crisis. The Autobots are, because they're on the back foot.
I will say, I did read this as Megatron being more pissed off that the Autobots may have had more resources than
that's true.
Being upset about the Decepticons having less resources, which I do think is a fair thing given their circumstances. This is particularly true because, like, his attitude kind of changes when Soundwave's like, actually, neither us nor the Autobots have the Energon, and he's like,
nasty little Centrist stole it.
He's like, well, that's weird, but okay, fine.
I guess. So a very dull battle results. There's a lot of gunfighting. There's a lot of shooting. Cog gets blown up, and Chromia. It's like fucking Saving Private Ryan out here, but it's fucking Cog. It's like, who cares about Cog? And there's also, like, I guess there's something going on between Hound and Chromia, which is weird because I'm pretty sure in the original cartoon, Chromia and Ironhide were the thing. So is Hound supposed to be Ironhide? He has a very Ironhide personality and voice.
Yeah, it's like Hound was like, who's again in G1 a very good boy.
He's like the sensitive nature.
It's like him and Beachcomber.
Yeah, Hound is like, I love nature. I love hanging out. I love making hologram tricks.
Yeah.
And then Ironhide is the one who's like, fuck you.
It's like a combination of Ironhide and Cup.
Yeah, and it's like, it's like almost more fucking Age of Extinction Hound.
In the Navy.
Yeah, so...
Oh god, yeah, you're right.
And then they win the battle by dropping a building on Impactor.
They kill Impactor quite bad. They impact Impactor very badly.
It's a very embarrassing way to die. Because before that, he gets tied up with his own grappling hook.
Yeah.
So, like...
More Robot Shibari for all you sickos out there.
He gets tied up with his own grappling hook, punched in the face, gets a building dropped on him, and dies. It's like, wow. Big showing for Impactor. Really major, important, like, really cool character in IDW. Immediately jobbed out to building. Cool. Also, Spinister is there.
And wouldn't you know it, no one needed neurosurgery.
So yeah, they go back. We finish up with, like, everyone's like, Optimus will get him next time. Like, they are all too forgiving of Optimus. If I was Elite, I'd be fucking pissed. Which, like, I guess she kind of is. Isn't she like, hey, Optimus, what the fuck was all that shit? And he's like, it's fine. Don't even worry about it.
This is... Oh, I do also want to...
Oh, wait, I remember what it is. I remember what it is.
Wait. Before you do that, before we leave,
Yes.
I do want to say that, at least in this show, Optimus does also wear other people like clothes.
Yes, he does.
He wears Sideswipe like a pair of shoulder pads.
Yes. No. Sideswipe wears Cog, or a Cog brother.
Oh, is
like
that what it is?
Shoulder pads. Yeah, because they're.
I thought it was Sideswipe going on to Optimus.
No, it's one of the guys going on to.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, people are still wearing each other as accessories.
He could also wear Cog as clothes, and presumably he will.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I remember what it is now. So they go back to the Ark after this disastrous mission where Cog almost dies, and they almost went into a trap. Once again, I must restate the world's most obvious trap,
which everyone else called.
Literally Sideswipe, Cog, and Leeta's like, hey, this is very clearly a trap, and I was just like, no, Magnus. He goes back and he's like, well, they tricked us. The Allspark wasn't there, but we'll just have to keep looking. And everyone just kind of looks at each other, and Wheeljack goes, hey, I was scanning, but like, it's a really, scanning for the Allspark, it's a really big drain on our energon reserves, so maybe it would be best if we did something else. And Optimus was like, no, we got to find the Allspark. And everyone just kind of looks at him. And that's how the Autobot plotline ends in this episode, with everyone being like, presumably planning to frag Optimus Prime because he's draining all of their resources, looking for something that most of them don't think is real. Like, that's the added context. He knows it's real.
This
and
Optimus is truly
audience,
intolerable.
We, the audience, know the Allspark is real because we've seen a Transformer before. Nobody else knows it's real. They just think it's a myth.
And also, even if it is still not worth the drain on their resources.
He's basically saying we should go find the Holy Grail. And I was like, what the fuck? Dude, we're dying. We're running out of, like, everything. He's like, no, the Grail will fix it.
Specifically, we should abandon everything we've been doing to survive to search for the Holy Grail, right? Like, it's different from Megatron, who is also like, I'm not sure we should devote the resources to this, by the way.
The two sides are like, Shockwave says, hey, here's this thing. I can scientifically confirm it is real, and I know what it does, and I bet we can find it. And Megatron's like, that's still a really big gamble. Optimus hears the word Allspark once, and he goes, oh my god, we gotta get it. We gotta get the Allspark. Fucking idiot. Anyway, Megatron basically calls Ultra Magnus a two-faced bitch, punches him in the face through his prison bars, and then says to do the Allspark plan. The end.
Well, we have 2 more weeks of this part. And then, hey, guess what? We're going on another hiatus, but
short 3-week break between this and Earthrise.
It's gonna be a full month
because we only extend the bad shows. All right, let's get through these goddamn questions here, which I have finally moved us over to Blue Sky. Don't know why. I just felt like it was a nice time to stop using Twitter that much. I don't know why. Anyway.
And here I thought we all liked Nazi salutes on national television.
No, you don't understand. He was just giving his
It was just autism.
He just has read the questions. Just read the questions.
Gonna kill myself. But him first.
Yeah.
Boy. From Ninja Consultant of Cybertron, what would your excellent disguise look like?
Painted on Sharpie mustache with nothing else. If we're doing
really good.
This if we're doing the equivalent of what Magnus was doing here, it's just like Sharpied on mustache.
I'm gonna one up you and say finger mustache tattoo.
Hello, it is I, Mr. Monopoly.
But yeah. There you go, a pair of cat ears.
Yeah.
Which other Transformers character has the worst silhouette to do an excellent disguise? Probably Whirl.
Yeah, a lot of them have very distinctive silhouettes. I mean, with the Seekers, it's easy. You just like paint yourself a different color. You're just a new guy.
Who's that Pokemon, but with Seekers
Yeah.
designed to make a lot of murder suicides happen.
It's like, there's a lot of guys, like, if you're Ironhide, you can pretty easily disguise yourself as Ratchet, or like, wear a big cloak and you could actually cover most of your body with that.
I would say
Whirl would be really easy.
I would say Whirl's probably.
Yeah,
The Impurata guys.
Or, Grimlock too. Grimlock's just too big. He's too big.
Oh, well, he's also a T-Rex.
Like,
well, yeah, I mean, base mode still. Even so.
Yeah, he's like, oh, hey, there's some guy who's like 12 feet tall in here.
Fucking Skylinks.
Yeah, wait, you're right, it's Skylinks.
If anyone here doesn't know, I think this is maybe the first time we've mentioned Skylinks. Did we mention him when we did season 1 of G1 at all?
No, because he's not in it.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think he ever comes
up. For anyone who doesn't know what Skylinks looks like, please just look up Skylinks. Incredible design for a character.
And a great character. His characterization is so funny.
Oh man. Someday we'll get to G1 season 2. And then it's over for everyone. Decepticon Ruby asks, I mean, how would you disguise yourself when you have two distinct shoulder pylons? I wouldn't do this. I simply wouldn't do what Ultra Magnus did.
Bigger, yeah, I would not bother disguising myself, maybe. It doesn't seem like it accomplished much.
I wouldn't surrender myself to the enemy that's known for torturing people.
Yeah, I wouldn't do basically anything he does at all in the series.
Megatron's crusty lips Sabrina asks, how the fuck did Jetfire manage to become Megatron's air commander? Please. No, I'm begging you.
Show me the interview process. What the hell did he say to convince him to do that?
This is not
clearly. I mean, we have, like, once again, we're just dropped in. We have no context for how this war started, why this war started.
This ain't fucking basketball, bro. Michael Jordan didn't shoot no laser beams.
This is literally the 92
It's called
Bulls.
a fadeaway jumper.
It's called a fadeaway jumper. Because I was thinking about it, right? Like, obviously, you can't judge a 6-episode Netflix limited series and like a 3-year long running comic book series in the same vein. Like, Rid.
But we will.
Yeah, but the Robots in Disguise is all about, like, Cybertronian politics and, like, war stuff and subterfuge and all this stuff. And like, you have a very full idea of what everyone's doing and why they're doing it. In this show, they keep saying things like treaty and this started as a revolution and all this stuff, but we don't, like.
It's like comparing West Wing.
Really
it's like comparing West Wing to Newsroom.
It really is like fan fiction, because like in a fan fiction, you're expected to bring most of your knowledge to it already. But you're supposed to be able to, like, backfill it, except this is like a news show, and they forgot I don't have anything to backfill other than very broad details.
But more to the point, I do feel this very strongly, and again, like, a bit of me sympathizes with the writers because of it, but I think this is an issue. I think a huge part of this is an issue of going between different mediums.
Yeah.
And not doing it successfully, because I would be shocked if at least some of this show wasn't originally written in prose.
Yeah, if it was like, I could easily see the Exodus novels or stuff like that.
100%. Like, again, and there's nothing wrong with that. I write a lot of fan fiction. It's a perfectly good medium to like, narrative prose is a perfectly good way to tell these stories. But it really feels like there was just, like, not a successful adaptation from one format to another, which I feel, like, bad about for the creators, because, like, maybe I could see how if this was written in prose, it would be, again, nothing groundbreaking, but perfectly serviceable Transformers content, and it's not.
It's really not.
Yeah. Meek Wimwalk, love you, asks, Recast of Trojan War with Cybertronian, who
This
is
is a
near
good
immortal
one.
gay man who's killed by getting shot in the ankle, who returns to Cybertron after 10 billion year voyage and is unrecognizable. Who is cursed to have perfect prophecy but never be believed? Okay, I'm just doing these three because
Yeah, we're just doing Achilles, Odysseus,
and Cassandra.
Cassandra.
Yeah. All right, Achilles.
Grimlock. I feel like Achilles is Grimlock to me.
Sure, that works.
He's honorable warrior guy. He's really strong. I feel like you could easily do like, I don't know who his Patroclus is, but like, you know, there's all sorts of things you could do with that.
Yeah, Patroclus. Yeah, who would be Patroclus to Grimlock?
Slag.
No, they need more romance.
Swoop. It has to be like someone outside of the Dino Bots.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, fucking Misfire.
Wow. What if Patroclus sucked at fighting, actually?
Yeah, what if Patroclus was famous for actually never hitting
Right, who the hell
anyone?
is
But I
Odysseus?
do think, relationship-wise, who turns to Cybertron after a 10 billion year voyage and is unrecognizable? I mean, like, Alpha Trion? Fucking Starsaber? You there?
Back, yeah. My internet dipped out briefly. I don't know why.
Oh, nope, you're good.
Anyway, who is
I said Starsaber.
Oh, shit. Starsaber Odysseus. I don't know. I feel like we can do better.
I am trying to think. Yeah, I do think. I'm trying to think of. Oh, you know what? Windblade.
That's a good one. I could easily see, yeah, like her going on a vast cosmic journey.
I mean, it is the colonies.
Yeah, and that is kind of what the Windblade Limiteds are about.
Yeah.
They're being irrecoverably changed.
Windblade Odysseus. Also, I love her. I think Sapphic Robot Odysseus is very good.
Who's Cassandra?
Starscream.
Yep, got it.
I mean, all the like chosen one shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could say like Omega Supreme.
No, but he's never wrong about things.
Yeah.
I think he's never like mistrusted because he's fucking 1,000 feet tall.
Right, yeah.
So
no.
it's like, I'm not going to take you seriously, Omega Supreme. He just fucking like steps on you.
Yeah, no, I mean, Starscream is legitimately, I mean, it's sort of like 50-50 about whether he's right or wrong.
But he is never taken seriously.
But he's never taken, in the 50% of the time when he is in fact correct, no one takes him seriously. Nero from Disney Minus asks, how rude is this Bumblebee?
I fucking hate it.
Intolerable. Like, I really don't like this guy. This is gonna be, I'm so thankful it's as short as this series is, because this would be rough.
Like, obviously, animated Bumblebee, he's annoying, but he's got his moments, and I like his relationship with, like, Sorry. Prime Bumblebee is cute, because he doesn't say anything, and he beeps and boops. Cyberverse Bumblebee...
And he actually does have, like, Prime Bumblebee actually does have a personality.
He does, actually...
Like, he gets his own, like, arcs and, like mini character arcs or whatever, and develops his character arc. Prime's a very good show. Characterologically.
I really like the character stuff he gets in that show. We're not talking about Rid 2015. Cyberverse Bumblebee is very annoying. I don't like him very much, but thankfully the show stops being built around him after a while. And G1 Bumblebee is just he's just a delightful little guy.
Yeah, he's a cream-faced business boy.
This Bumblebee he's fucking blue check mark ass Twitter Bumblebee talking about both sides being bad, and you got to look out for yourself, brother. Buy my brain pills.
This Bumblebee completely uncritically enjoyed BioShock Infinite.
Fucking, it's like, damn, it's true.
Black people are racist.
And he thought all of that. And he was like, damn, all this quantum mechanics shit is so crazy in my brain, dude. I gotta smoke another bowl.
Yeah, he sucks. What other Transformers in the franchise should get a rude version of themselves? None of them! This is so bad!
Hello, everyone. This is Future Nero. So... during the recording of the question segment, my internet kept going out. So we basically decided that we would just cover the rest of the questions next week from this week, because it was just too much of a pain to try and wrangle. It turned out to be an easy fixable problem, so this won't happen again, but sorry about that. So I'm just here to do the plugs and all of that stuff. Audrey is at Optimus Prime everywhere. I am at NeroWyvern.BlueSky.social. I'm technically still on Twitter at DragonSmoocher, and I am on Tumblr with Cyclonus Bit of 5. You can also find Audrey's other podcast on Noise at XYZ, Pot of Greed, etc., etc. And we are also a part of Noise Space. So yeah, until next time, I am going to suplex my Ethernet cable, transform and roll out. Peach.